Getting wins as a solo player in Domination can at times be very difficult and frustrating, especially if your teammates don't really help you, if they're just like sniping or just being useless in general. But I wanted to make this video to hopefully give you guys some tips on like how to get more wins as a solo player. And the first one would be to just use your best class. Use an M16, use an MP5, frag times 3, jug, whatever you think is your best class, use that, because if you can't rely on your teammates, you need to be the best version of you that you can be, and that involves having the best class that you can have. Frag times 3 is something a lot of people look down upon, and rightfully so, because it is pretty newbie to have 3 frags you can randomly throw as soon as you spawn. But as a solo Dom player, I think it's very useful to defend flags, and also since you can't really rely on your teammates that much, you can put them in areas like block off that area. For example, in Vacant, there's only like those like doors at the end of the hallways. You could just constantly be nading them and stopping the enemy team from accessing them. The next thing I'm going to go over is filling gaps. What I mean by that is you look up at the radar, see where your teammates aren't, and you go there. On this game, in the background district, I usually like to play around market, but I've noticed on the radar that no one on my team is stopping the enemy from getting to C. Like, that entire section of the map is blocked off, and I can't just go to market and then stop them from leaving their spawn. I have to sit at C and make sure that none get through. Because since no one's been watching that area for a period of time, it's very possible that people would have gotten through. And if I just go to market, by the time I get there, they could have just be hopping on the flag, and then we would most likely lose the flag and lose all the control that we had. So I decided to just defend C, and I actually get a lot of kills doing it, and this is very helpful for my team. No one had to worry about wrapping back because I had it. The next thing I want to go over is that you should probably play conservative and try to get your streaks. If you do see people hopping a flag, do help them, but in general, I like to play for my streaks when I'm playing alone. I use my helicopter as a teammate once I get it, and then I make plays for flags and such. And if I do get a helicopter, I like to die before I call it in. That way I can have that helicopter earn me another helicopter, and that's very useful. And as a solo player, if you have constant air support, you're much more likely to win. It makes it a lot easier on yourself and your team as a whole. Like I said earlier, if I see someone on a flag, I will definitely help them. That's another thing you have to consider, is when to play the objective. Many people just like to suicide jump on flags constantly and say that they're playing the objective. And that is true, they're trying to get the flag, but that's not really effective. You're just giving the enemy team streaks with a lot of like low chance plays to try to get a flag. It's much better to get some streaks or get some people to like wait for their help. I like to just like stay alive in the area, and then if I get my streaks, I'll use that to get it, or if teammates top it, I'll use that to get it. So just suicide jumping the flag rarely works, and it's rarely helpful to your team. You got to be much smarter about how you want to play the objective if you want to win as a solo player. If I have control, like if my team has 2 flags and it's nearing the end of the round and I have streaks, I would definitely save those streaks for the next round and then use them in the opening. Having streaks in the opening of the second half can really just pretty much guarantee you get 2 flags off the start. And if you already have like 2 flags in the round and you're just going to ride it out for the end, there's really no point to have that helicopter support. So pay attention to like how deep you are into the round, and if you get some streaks, or if you're nearing the end of the round, try to play for some streaks. That way you can get them faster in the second half. If you go into the second half with like a 4 kill streak, for example, and then you get a kill, and you have your airstrike, and then you get 2 more kills, and you have a helicopter very early on in the half, and then you can easily take some flags with your team. I think that everybody should learn the good nade spots for Domination, but especially as a solo player, if you die and you come off spawn and then you know a nade to defend the B flag with, as soon as you come off spawn you can do that and then defend it from super far away. If you would have had to run there and get the kills, they probably would have gotten the flag and then you would be fighting a retake, but since you know that nade spot, you can defend it that way. The nades are super good in this game, and many of the maps have really good cheesy nade spots that you can do to get people off of B for little to no like cost. Like, they can't counter it, there's no trophies or flak jacket in this game, and you're not really putting yourself at danger doing it most of the time because a lot of the nade spots are like secure. Next, this is another thing that everyone should have regardless, but especially solo players, and that is an AA class. Shooting down helicopters is going to happen at times, especially if you're playing solo and you have like bad teammates. The enemy team is very likely to get some helicopters from time to time, so you want to have a class prepared to deal with that. You could use RPGs, but I don't like those as much. Like, I'm not as good with them. I'm sure some people are. But I like to use a double tap RPD to shoot down helicopters. I think I put grip on it as well. So like double tap grip RPD, shoot down the helicopter, super easy. And it's even easier if like more people do it. Like, I don't know why it isn't just common for when a helicopter comes up to everybody to shoot at it, because it would go down so fast, but for some reason people just like to hide instead. And it's really disappointing. If like everybody put a clip into it, it would die like so quickly. Another piece of equipment that I think can be a lifesaver to the solo player is the smoke grenade. This is really underrated and underutilized in this game, but it can be extremely helpful for taking flags or breaking out of spawn traps. Like if there's a person pinning you down in an area, you can just throw the smoke there and then you should probably be able to get out pretty easily. There's nothing that really counters the smoke in this game, like the thermal that came in later games. So really, their only choice is to either nade it if they have a nade, or just pre-fire, hoping they get you. It's possible they could get you pre-firing, but it's less likely, and it'll help you a lot. My final tip to solo players would be to not play solo. The game is much more enjoyable with friends, and you'll get wins a lot more consistently. And the easiest way to find people to play with is Xbox One has clubs, I think PC has Steam groups, and I think PlayStation has like communities or some shit. I don't know, I don't play on either of those platforms, I only play on Xbox. But if these things don't work for you, you can message people in game, you can use like subreddits that are made to help you find people. Join a clan. It's not that hard to find people to play with in like today's era. So that's going to conclude this video. To recap, I think what you want to do is have your best class, fill gaps, play for streaks, play the objective intelligently, get ready to shoot helicopters down, and use your grenades wisely to nade people off of flags. Thanks for watching this video, and please like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're new here.